Anavar Oxandrolone. So today we're going to take a look at Anavar. There's a lot of mystique surrounding Anavar. Some of it warranted, some of it not. It's very popular with female competitors, um, people who are kind of dipping their toe into the steroid pool. Uh, Seem to be interested in Anavar, but we'll take a look at it. So today is the Anavar steroid profile. Let's take a look here. So properties of Anavar. It is structurally an altered form of DHT, dihydrotestosterone. There's an added oxygen atom replacing the carbon 2 at the A ring. That modification makes it a very strong anabolic, so it has a strong anabolic to androgenic ratio. Um, Also, a modification at the 17th carbon position by adding of a methyl group uh, um, making it a C17AA anabolic steroid, so it can be administered orally. This also makes it somewhat liver toxic. But Anavar's pretty mild compared to other orals. Um, as I mentioned, it has a very low androgenic properties as compared to testosterone. So if we look at its androgenic rating is a 24. Anabolic rating can range from 322 to 630. So it is significantly the androgen to anabolic ratio is significantly more than most other steroids. So you're looking at anywhere from 10 to 30 times um, um, anabolic properties versus androgenic when you're looking at it, which makes it attractive for women to use. Um, there are no estrogenic effects or measurable progestin effects. It promotes lean tissue growth primarily. The androgenic effects are very, very mild, um, and it's relatively mild for an oral, although no oral is completely harmless to the liver. It increased. So the effects of Anavar increased protein synthesis like other steroids, increased nitrogen retention just like other steroids. It has been shown to decrease sex hormone binding globulin SHGB, sorry, freeing up your testosterone to work more effectively. Um, Increased IGF-1 production, increased red blood cell count, so can make your hemoglobin and hematocrit go up. I haven't seen it have any significant impact on it, but um, reduces thyroid binding globulin. There is some belief that that may help with fat burning. Um, and there also is some also anecdotal evidence, experience-wise, that Anavar does aid in lipolysis a little bit. I haven't seen any dramatic effect, but it does seem to harden you up a tad. Inhibition of glucocorticoids like cortisol. So, what would this be good for? When you're stressed out the most, which is in contest prep, your body is under a lot of duress during contest prep. So, this would make it a somewhat ideal um, addition to your contest prep stack. A very, very strong anabolic action, although that to me, I haven't seen that translate directly into large muscle gain. Side effects of Anavar. It's, as I mentioned, it's very mild compared to other anabolics. It's probably a good training wheels steroid because of it. If you just want to dip your toe in the pool and you're chicken shit and don't want to take a shot, you can start off with Anavar. Um, can elevate red blood cell count and hematocrit. Like I said, I haven't really seen it. It affects, of course, this affects different people differently. I don't have a dramatic response to that like some other people do. I've taken pretty high doses of stuff, and my hematocrit has never gotten ridiculously high. There are low risk of androgenic side effects, but ladies, they do exist. If you run high enough doses, you take it long enough, it will masculinize you. Why can't I say that fucking word? Masculinization. It will masculinize you. Uh, it can cause body hair growth, baldness, BPH, acne. Um, one of these days, I'm going to say that fucking word right. Um, it does suppress HDL significantly, so it will fuck your lipids up. I have definitely noticed it on my blood work that my cholesterol gets messed up when I'm on Anavar. So it's not without side effects, you know. So if you're concerned about cardiovascular health, that's something to consider. It will mildly suppress natural testosterone production. I just read something about it recently. I can't remember what it was. There was a study done over an 8 week period, and it was pretty mild. It was something like a 30% suppression. Don't quote me on that. You know, if I'm wrong about that, don't rib me. But you can probably find the study yourself online. But it was pretty mild, so it won't completely shut off your testosterone production on a short cycle. Probably over the long duration at high doses, it will, because it is C17 alpha alkylated. It can be liver toxic at higher doses. There's a study I found where it said that they did. This was, I think, it was pretty old, but they tested it on groups at 20 milligrams. There was no liver toxicity at 20 milligram doses or less. At 40 milligrams per day, it produced a 30 to 40% increase in liver enzymes across the test group. At 80 milligrams per day, it caused an 80% increase in liver enzymes. So pretty significant at that dose. I would not drink in excess or take Tylenol while you're on it. It's probably just asking for trouble. You're going to put even more stress on your liver. Tylenol is pretty nasty for your liver, in case you don't know. Um, I had a friend of mine go into complete liver failure from taking Tylenol. He was taking Tylenol to recover from hangovers, and the combination of the Tylenol and alcohol put him in complete liver failure. And he wasn't even like a crazy heavy drinker. I don't know what the dose of Tylenol he was taking, but it fucked him up. So be aware with Tylenol of the impact that it can have on your liver. Applications for Anavar. Great for fat loss phases. Like I said before, it seems to be ideally suited for contest prep, probably the last phase of contest prep. You know, because you have the increased nitrogen retention, no estrogenic side, so it'll keep you nice and dry. Suppresses SHBG, which can be rising SHBG can be a problem in contest prep. Suppresses cortisol. Cortisol gets elevated as you get deeper into contest prep, so that's also very beneficial. You know, as I mentioned before, anecdotal evidence that it does cause some fat, additional fat burning. Like I said, I haven't seen any significant difference, but you know, some people claim that it does. Um, and you know, promotes muscle retention and a caloric deficit. That and Tren both did. I think Tren's more effective at it. It can be used in hypertrophy phases, but I don't know. I know some people love it. I've tried it before and I saw little to no difference. But you know, you can. It will make your strength go up. Um, Half-life of Anavar. It has a 9 to 13 hour half-life, depending. You know, there's a lot of things that could factor in how long it takes to metabolize it, what you eat, your general overall body chemistry can affect it. But so also I've read studies that age seems to impact the half-life too. But if you want to keep a nice even levels of it in your system, you probably would want to take it twice a day, morning and evening. Cycles and doses. Typical doses I've seen guys take 20 to 30 milligrams per day is kind of a beginner dose. Intermediate dose, 40 to 50 milligrams per day. Advanced dose, 50 milligrams per day. I know one dude that was taking 200. I don't know how the fuck he afforded it, and I don't know why you would take 200 milligrams of an oral. With all the stress you're putting on your liver, you'd be better off taking an injectable, but it seems like a poor choice. But people do stupid things when it comes to steroids. Female doses. Beginner dose. Please don't quote me on the female doses. I'm not by any means the expert on what women take, but this is what I've heard. 5 to 10 milligrams is kind of the the training wheels dose for women. Intermediate doses, like you have your local competitor that's doing a bikini contest at the local show, up to 30 milligrams. I've heard of some pros. I've heard rumors of some pro bikini and physique competitors taking 30 plus milligrams, 50 plus milligrams, God only knows what, but I've heard of that. I've never actually spoken to anybody that has, so take that with a grain of salt. My personal experiences with Anavar, if I'm going to take an oral, it's my favorite oral. Um, I'm not a big fan of orals in general. They just fuck my stomach up. I lose my appetite. I save it for the last part of contest prep, and that would be it. But I'm just like, I'm not a particular fan of orals. I think you're putting undue stress on your system, and just put a needle in your ass and, and not have to deal with that, and you'll probably get better results. Um, I don't know how you can get big if your stomach's upset and you can't eat. So it may be effective at putting size on, but it gives me diarrhea. I'll be honest with you, if I take too much of it. Um, Moderate side effects. I haven't experienced any crazy side effects. I've most I've ever taken is 50 milligrams per day. Um, 50 milligrams did elevate when I took it by itself. Did elevate my liver enzymes slightly. It wasn't anything crazy. It was probably in that 30% range that they were talking about. Um, when combined with 50 milligrams of Winstrol in my last contest prep, my liver enzymes were destroyed. So I will not do that again. I will take lower doses or a shorter duration. And also use some liver support with it. I did not use liver support. I've never had trouble with liver enzymes before, so this was a first for me. Like significant trouble. So next time I will use liver support. Probably take a lower dose. Um, Anavar does upset my stomach. I've heard people report that. I have to eat it with food. If I take it on an empty stomach, I am in trouble. It does suppress my appetite. All orals seem to suppress my appetite, um, which when you're um, in a hypertrophy phase is a disadvantage. You don't want to suppress appetite. That was always my big complaint with Anadrol. I know people love Anadrol for size and strength, but I don't want to eat when I take Anadrol. I don't know why you would consider that a good choice if you're not eating and you're trying to put size on. If you're in contest prep and you're suppressing your appetite, it's probably a good thing, right? Um, for it does harden me up. I will say that Anavar definitely hardens me up. I get a drier, veinier look within a couple weeks of starting it. It definitely makes me look good. Um, moving forward, I would only use it for. I just don't see a benefit for it in hypertrophy phases because of what it causes with stomach, and I could use things that are less taxing to my system. Um, I would only use it moving forward, and this is really up to you. But for me personally, I'm only going to use it moving forward for contest prep, and in probably the last 6 to 8 weeks. Um, I will be more conservative when using it with Winstraw, obviously, after my recent experience. Ideally, it shouldn't be used in combination with other orals. If you're in a hypertrophy phase and you're taking this with D-ball or Anadrol, you're fucking crazy. Uh, Loss of appetite and increased liver values are less than an ideal environment for growth, as we talked about. I mean, I just don't understand why people think you're going to grow if you're sick. You know, definitely more drugs work, but if you push the drugs so high, you're sick. You're not going to want to train hard. You're not going to want to eat. That's not an ideal environment for growth. So you have to walk the line when it comes to this stuff. One thing I want to add in, I forgot to mention earlier, I'm going to edit this into the video. Anavar is probably, outside of Primable, and the most faked anabolic steroid there is, so women be careful. I've seen that most UGL Anavar is actually D-ball. Sometimes it's even Anadrol. So guys probably don't really care, but just, be cautious that the UGL Anavar that you're getting, it's probably not real. Good chunk of it. Usually the European pharmaceutical grade stuff is real, or most of it tends to be. I've also found that anything more than 10 milligram pills tends to be fake. The 50 milligram pills, at least every one I've ever tested has been faked. So just something to keep in mind when getting Anavar. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get this thing off the ground. I don't know what I'm doing with it. I have no long-term goal other than just helping people out. There's a lot of shitty information out there. I'm not saying I'm the be-all, end-all, but hopefully the information I provide is at least decent and accurate. If I'm not accurate on anything, please let me know. I want to know. Feel free to ask questions in the comment section. I'm happy to answer questions and take suggestions for other videos you'd like me to do. And follow me on Instagram at Paul K. Barnett. Have a great day.